Hello guys, welcome to another video by Football Infinity. So recently I had the luck of doing an interview with Mr. Ignasi Oliva Gispert of Goal Global. He's the Barca correspondent over there. So we talked about La Masia, Ronald Koeman, Messi leaving, Suarez, Barca's future, presidential election, all of that. So this is just a trailer for that episode, just 15 minutes of it. You can check out the full 50-minute podcast, link in description. I hope you like it, and I'll leave you to it. My question is relating to the previous reign of Sir Bartomeu. Sir, so he did introduce a type of new generation approach to La Masia, which was called La Masia 360, which did not work to how he wanted it to. So what was the aim of La Masia 360? And is it still going on? Like, is that approach and that ideal still carrying on in the Barca setup? Or is that idea just closed and are they just continuing with La Masia from how they used to work before Bartomeu's arrival?
This is a very good question because Bartomeu used to say that the Masia must be touched, and in the end he made a lot of mistakes, wrong steps handling La Masia. I mean, in the last two seasons, the B team, so the last step before reaching the first team. Made about 40, 50 deals. These are too many deals, especially knowing that the youth team had won the youth Champions League only 2 seasons ago. It was the team with Ansu Fati, you will remember that. But it makes no sense that having a winning team and buying 25 players for the B team. So Bartomeu said one thing and did the opposite. What happened in the end? That many of the Masia players saw that not the doors were of the first teams were closed. The doors of the B team were even closed to them, and many of them decided to find other teams. This was the case of Eric Garcia, for example, who is right now at Man City, but he probably is going to join Barcelona very soon, if not in winter, in the summer market. But according to my sources, this deal is completely done. So we are going to be back, Eric, at Camp Nou, but probably if Masia was handled in another way, Eric would have never left. And this was a big problem that the Masia players see the doors of the first team closed, but even the B team doors are closed to them. So hopefully things are going to change from next 24th January. But at La Masia, they kept working in the same way along the time. Things didn't change at all there, but they did in the B team. Hopefully, I hope that they change because they must change thinking on promoting the young talent and considering that Barcelona is not anymore a rich club, thinking that they have no money for buying a very cheap Memphis Depay for the first team. So I think that Masia players are going to be very important. The club must give a good environment for making them to grow and to reach the first team.
So another scandal involved Bartomeu's reign in the La Masia, which was that they lost Takufasi Kubo through an age scandal. So can you just explain that how they lost him to Real Madrid, and now that he's such a good prospect and is considered the new Messi, and he's playing for on loan at Villarreal, but for their rivals, which are Real Madrid. So, what was that scandal, and how did they manage to lose such a great prospect?
That's a very good question as well, and nobody has forgotten about Take Kubo here in Barcelona because you're right. You're right. It makes no sense that a player who had to live in the past, being one of Masia's jewels, remember he had to leave because of that FIFA sanction. that made him to be back to his home country, Japan. And when he was 18, he had the chance of being back to Spanish and European football. Barcelona was initially interested in him, especially remember that Barcelona is wearing Rakuten here, which is a Japanese company. Uh, is everywhere around the globe, of course, but it's a Japanese country. So this arrival, Kubo's arrival to Barcelona, would be a strategic move, even in the business chapter. But they allow him to go to Real Madrid, in a decision which makes any sense, because we are not speaking about a 100 million player. There were 2 million euro. They said that they didn't have that money, but after 4 months, they bought one Brazilian, Mateus, for 7 million euro. It makes absolutely any sense. I would like to be more clearful answering that question, but I'm not able to answer that question because it makes no sense, and nobody in Barcelona can explain that decision of allowing him to join Real Madrid. Even it is true that he's not having a good performances at Villarreal, but this is because he's a very young player and there's a lot of currency. There are a lot of similar players on Villarreal, and Unai Emery, the coach, is giving more confidence to them. I don't know how it's going to finish that story. He wants to stay at Villarreal until the end of the season, but Real Madrid is upset because he's not playing enough minutes. Let's see, because he could clearly change the team this winter. Of course, it was a wrong mistake, a hard mistake by Barcelona, but Barcelona has made a lot of big mistakes in the last years, allowing Thiago Alcantara to leave to join Bayern München is another big mistake in my opinion. But this is Bartomeu. This was Bartomeu time. Also, Philippe Coutinho was an amazing mistake. The most expensive player in Barcelona's history and has no influence in the game or in the result.
Yes, sir. Another just a question related to Felipe Coutinho or Antoine Griezmann. Sir, all of these players, including so many more, Barca is signing so many players for so much money. Are they trying to build the new Galacticos? Because, like Real Madrid in the early 2000s, this is exactly their spending regime. They are not promoting the most, they're not promoting the talent from their youth team. Like you said, Xavi Simmons, he's left them. Then in recent years, Eric Garcia, Thiago Alcantara, all of these players are leaving them, just making space for Felipe Coutinho, Antoine Griezmann, while Real Madrid, on the other hand, are buying younger players and focusing on the future. So is Barca now lacking behind on their previous approach, and now is Real Madrid capitalizing on that?
You're right. I pretty agree with you because it is true that these players are really old. Both Coutinho and Griezmann are close to be 30 years old, and you cannot build the future with such old players. Um, it makes no sense. But now the problem is these players cannot be sold because Barcelona paid a big amount for both, and even we can speak in the same terms about Ousmane Dembele, but they cannot be sold because the prices and the market went down after the COVID crisis. They have no clubs interested on them, and Barcelona is losing money. It is true that Griezmann maybe it's a different case because he is used to work a lot as he was at Atletico de Madrid, which is such a working team. And even if he is not at superstar level, he uses to work a lot for allowing the rest of the players to have good actions, good highlights. And I'm not that upset about Griezmann because of his attitude, but when speaking about Dembele and Coutinho, I really don't know what to think about, because Coutinho has an important lack of attitude. He has a soft mind, a soft attitude, and he uses to go down very easy in the mental chapter. And Dembele is exactly the same, but in the physical chapter. Too many injuries. He doesn't say when he has some pain, and the medical staff in Barcelona is really upset with him, because it's not the club's fault. It's even Dembele's fault. He doesn't say anything when he's feeling pain. It makes no sense, and uh, we could discuss the planification, the planning of the last seasons, when five sports directors take decisions over 6 years. This is one different sports director per season. Uh, this situation don't allow you to build something along the time. You know what I mean? And we are now where we are. Decisions weren't taken when they had to, and now everything is exploding. Barcelona tried to solve that in the last summer, but in the middle of that crisis with the COVID, it was so hard. I think that uh, you have a good base for the future. I think about Ter Stegen, Langlet, Frankie de Jong, Ansu Fati, Ricky Puig, Pedri, even Serginho Dest is a very interesting player, but I assume that you have big holes in the striker role. In the central back, you are lacking players there, and you see Eric Garcia playing at Man City, and my feeling is to cry.
Sir, again, I understand exactly what you're saying there, the kind of players Barca is letting go, because these are not players who have flopped and not been playing well. These are top quality prospects. And like that, talking about players. So, sir, why are so many young players, even before La Masia 360, even before that project, since 2013, I think the latest La Masia player who was graduated after Sergi Roberto has been Ansu Fati and has actually made a stamp on the team. So I can't. In all of those years, Barca has still produced such good talent. But why is there not a pathway from the youth level from La Masia to the first team anymore?
Well, it's what I said you before, that it is true that it's impossible to find a Messi, an Iniesta, or a Xavi, or a Puyol in every generation. Um, these were the main players of the three most important generations at La Masia. This was anecdotic. This is not normal. But what is not normal is to see that Barcelona hasn't been able to catch out a good player in 7 seasons since Sergio Roberto, as you said, until Ansu Fati arrived. But Ansu Fati is something special, something which, like Messi, uh, appears. But this is not the normal thing. It is true that some interesting players got lost, but some others didn't offer the level who were expected to. I am now thinking on Marc Bartra, for example, but Thiago Alcantara had to rest, for example. Thiago Alcantara was a big mistake, because they allowed Thiago Alcantara to leave because they had Cesc Fabregas. And after 1 year after Thiago left, they sold Cesc Fabregas, which has no sense, because now, after that, you finish with any of them. Fortunately, Barcelona was able to buy Ivan Rakitic and to win the Champions League just after Fabregas left. But thinking on La Masia, it is true that with that crisis in the COVID time, uh, Barcelona must be able to build a new environment for giving new opportunities more often to the young players. Koeman is doing that. Indeed, since he arrived, um, Pedri has been playing very often. It is true that Ricky is not, but Pedri, 17 years old when he began to play with Koeman. He's right now 18, but he started to play being 17 years old. Koeman used Ansu Fati as a main team player as well. So he's not scared about the age of the players. It's about qualities. And if the players show they have qualities enough, Koeman is going to use them. Indeed, check the last games. He sent to the bench one main team player as Lenglet, and he made to play both Araujo and Mingueza, which are B-team players. So if they deserve to play, they are going to play. And that is what made me to, to give Koeman some confidence, because he is not scared about the results as Setien was, because he is a legend and knows that everyone is going to respect their decisions. Probably nobody respected Setien's decisions because he wasn't a legend. But thinking on that, I think that Masia players can be more trustful on their opportunities because Koeman is giving these opportunities.